Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Today we're going to be taking a look at 3 different microphones. They're all dynamic microphones typically used for podcasting, broadcast, or even live streams. And we're going to test these guys out. Hey everybody, it's Chris from FamilyGeekery, and today we're going to be testing out 3 different microphones. They are all dynamic microphones, kind of in the $50 to $100 range. So these would be entry-level dynamic microphones used, like I said, for podcasting, or for live broadcast, or for live streams. Just anything that you would use, hook these into a computer, and we'll talk about how you do that. But first, let's go ahead and introduce our 3 subjects today. We've got the Zoom dynamic mic, the ZDM-1. We've got the Rode PodMic, and we've got the Elgato Wave. Now, all 3 of these are XLR, so they require an XLR cable and an audio interface of some sort. Like I said, we'll talk about that in just a second. They're all dynamic. Now, what dynamic means is you got 2 different types of microphones. You got dynamic and you've got condenser. Now, a condenser microphone, just to make kind of an easy comparison between the two, think about a condenser microphone as being one that amplifies the voice from farther away to pick up your voice. So, example, right now, I'm talking into a USB condenser microphone, similar to like a Yeti. I'm actually using a Behringer Bigfoot, and I did a review on that. I'll go ahead and link that right up here. But that's what I'm talking to in right now, hooked up right into my video recorder. And if you listen closely, you may even hear like some background noise, maybe my computer fans in the background. Now, you don't want to hear that all the time, so that's why anybody that has a voice that just wants to record their voice, like I said, for podcasting or something, and you don't want background noise, use a dynamic microphone, because this is just generic terms, but this is not amplified. We're going to put this right up close to our mouth, and we're going to talk right into it, and then it's going to get into the computer that way. So like I said, all 3 of these are the same technology. All 3 are in the same ballpark of, like I said, $50 to $100, somewhere in there, depending on what sale is going on. And really, how do we test these things? The best thing I can probably do is just hook all 3 of them up, talk into them, and let you decide. So the big question is there a major difference between all 3 of these? Now, we know that they make like $300, $500 versions of these things. I would hope that there's some difference between a $50 one and a $500 one. But between these 3 that are all in the same ballpark price range, is there much of a difference? So, without any further ado, let's talk about how we're going to hook them up, and we'll go ahead and hook them up and listen to them. So to hook a microphone like this up to our computer, we're going to need some kind of an audio interface. Now, that audio interface can come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, and again, in all kinds of price ranges. But if you're a streamer, then you may look at something like this, the Go XLR, and this is actually the Go XLR Mini. And what it does is it takes your XLR here on the left, puts it in here, converts it to digital, and then sends it to your computer through USB. So that's how your computer sees it, kind of like as a sound card. So now you've got your microphone plugged into it, and that plugged into your computer or laptop. So that's one way to do it. Maybe if you're a podcaster, you may have something like this. This is the Zoom PodTrack P4, and in this case it's got 4 XLR interfaces, so I can put 4 microphones in here, mix them with the mixing dials down here, and either record it straight into this, or I can hook this up USB to a computer. Actually, USB is on this side, so you can record it to an SD card, or hook it up to a computer, and get it into your computer that way. So this will actually act as an audio interface. Even if you don't see your favorite live streamers using something like this, it works just as well. It's just not as fancy. And these things are awesome if you're a podcaster, or if you want to do any kind of recording portably. You can hook this thing up to 5 volts, actually it takes some batteries in the back here, or hook it up to a power bank, and you can take this couple microphones, go anywhere that you want, and just start recording people right onto SD card. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to hook up each microphone into here. We're not going to do all 3 at the same time. I'm going to hook the same one up into the same port, get all the same settings on it, all the same volume levels, and that way when I talk into it, you'll be able to compare between the 3 microphones. So to get this done, I'm going to have to hook up an XLR cable from here to the interface, and then I'll hook that into my computer to record it, and then I'm going to be saying some test phrases. Now, instead of just saying check, 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 1, 2, 3, like you would if you're starting a concert somewhere. I've got some test phrases that they actually made. I think it's Harvard made these back a long time ago to test out different audio things like radios for military communications, cell phones, voice over IP. And it's going to sound silly. It's going to be 10 sentences, 10 short sentences, but it's supposed to be phonetically complete and be a good test for microphones. So I'm going to read all 10 of those statements on each of these, and I will have down here written below which microphone I'm talking into. Alright, starting off with the first microphone, this is the Zoom ZDM-1. And just as a disclaimer, if you hear any kind of noises like this, that's because I'm hand holding the mic, and you would never do this if you were broadcasting or podcasting or recording. You would have it on a stand of some sort. But for keeping things simple, I've got this in my hand. So listen just to the voice, not to any of that stuff. So here we go. The boy was there when the sun rose. A rod is used to catch pink salmon. The source of the huge river is the clear spring. Kick the ball straight and follow through. Help the woman get back to her feet. A pot of tea helps to pass the evening. Smoky fires lack flame and heat. The soft cushion broke the man's fall. The salt breeze came across from the sea. The girl at the booth sold 50 bonds. Okay, moving now over to the Rode PodMic. Same sentences. The boy was there when the sun rose. A rod is used to catch pink salmon. The source of the huge river is the clear spring. Kick the ball straight and follow through. Help the woman get back to her feet. A pot of tea helps to pass the evening. Smoky fires lack flame and heat. The soft cushion broke the man's fall. The salt breeze came across from the sea. The girl at the booth sold 50 bonds. Alright, moving over to the Elgato Wave microphone. Now, Elgato is well known for their USB microphones, and those things are awesome. But because they make the Wave XLR interface, I think they decided to also make a dynamic microphone. So here we go. The boy was there when the sun rose. A rod is used to catch pink salmon. The source of the huge river is the clear spring. Kick the ball straight and follow through. Help the woman get back to her feet. A pot of tea helps to pass the evening. Smoky fire lacks flame and heat. The soft cushion broke the man's fall. The salt breeze came from across the sea. The girl at the booth sold 50 bonds. Okay, now I'm back to my normal microphone that I used at the beginning of the video. This is my USB condenser microphone, plugged right into the iPad. And hopefully you got a good listen of all those sentences. Now, I am not a professional speaker of any sort. I tried to read all those sentences with the same inflection in my voice to make it similar between all three of these. So hopefully you were able to compare the three and see if you could notice any difference. Now, I haven't listened to them back yet, so I'm not sure if there is any noticeable difference. I'll leave that up to you, the listener. But other than that, just some other quick comparisons. I'm not sure if this has anything to do with build quality, but this Rode PodMic here is the absolute heaviest of all three, like considerably more heavy than the other two. I would say the Wave is probably the second heaviest, and then the Zoom come up third. Like I said, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with build quality or if it's just how it is. Now, all three of these come with a mount. This one has a mount that comes off the side. This one has more of a typical broadcast style mount, and the Zoom actually has one that screws onto the back. Here's another one of the Zoom microphones, so you can see how it mounts. Now, I've used all three of these over the years for our FamilyGeekery Podcast. We started off using the Zooms. At some point, I bought the PodMic, and then the last couple episodes, so at this time of recording, probably episodes 66 and 65 were recorded with this Elgato microphone. So if you want to check those out, go ahead and find the FamilyGeekery Podcast. It will be linked down in the description below, so you can check that out. Now, as far as interfaces go, we're going to be reviewing some different types of interfaces here on this channel, so go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to check those out. And if you have some overall questions about microphones or dynamic versus condenser or podcasting or anything, go ahead and hit me up down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them. But this was just a quick video just to get a little audio test of all three of these microphones side by side and let you guys see how they sound. I would say for pretty much any type of podcast or game streaming that you would want to do, any one of these would be completely fine. And depending on the rest of the setup, they'd probably all be better than your average like USB microphone. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you found it helpful. If so, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. If you want to see more, like I said, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm always reviewing different types of audio setups and audio interfaces and microphones. So go ahead and check those out also. But thank you as always for watching. And until next time, peace out and geek out.